joined for this week's BCFC catch-up with head coach of the Valley Huskers, Bob Reist. Bob, first off, I mean, you're the longest-serving coach in the BCFC itself. 6 years, this being your sixth, seven if you count COVID. What has it been like for you? What's attributed to this tenure with the Great Valley Huskers program?
Yeah, I guess it's time flies. It's been 6 years, 7 years with COVID. I think my goal coming in here, multiple goals coming in here, but one of them was to bring a little stability to the program after numerous years of changing head coaches frequently. It's nice to bring stability to the program, and I've added I work with a great coaching staff here that does a great job and, helps make life easy. But yeah, it's really just about, setting the culture of the team and setting what we want and what our goals are as a program and, bringing in the right guys and developing that culture and running with it. And it's been, very productive for us over the last 6 years. We've turned this team from a perennial bottom feeder, and I think we were on an 0-30 something losing streak when I got here, and last year, is a great example to see where we're at and where we're headed to.
I mean, talk about that, because you talk about the 0-30 run before you came in. You come in, made the playoffs 3 times in 5 years, which is an incredible turnaround. What does it mean to you to be able to have that success? I mean, it's not easy to kind of come in with a blank slate, maybe a team that's down in despair or down the depths per se, and come in and make the playoffs 3 times out of 5 years. Must feel good.
Yeah, I mean, it feels good to be heading in the right direction. Obviously, we're not where where we want to be at the end of the day, but we've certainly turned a corner and are heading in the right direction. And to be fair, I was, part of that 32. My first year we went 0-10 as well. And I kind of knew going in that was going to be a tough year, but that year, looking back, really set the tone for who we were going to be and how we were going to approach things. And, and we've built every year since, like you say, 3 out of the last 5 years in the playoffs is a good accomplishment for the program. It's one of our goals, but at this point, making the playoffs isn't the end goal. It's the standard of the program. That's what we expect to do. That's, who we think we are, and that's the attitude and the way we go about our business. So we'd like to take the next step. Getting to the playoffs is awesome. Winning in the playoffs, that's what we want to do, and certainly that's the goal of the group this year.
I mean, you want to make the playoffs, you want to win the playoffs, you also want to win the championship. I know that's on the mind of every coach, every sport, every league. For your team this year, you look up and down the roster, what's it going to take to get to that championship opportunity?
Learning from mistakes, we're coming off a really good year, but there were some things that hurt us and put us in tough positions. I mean, 7-3, that's a great record, but we were 2-3 on the road, and that's something that we need to improve on. We had, I look back at last year and 2 critical opportunities to secure a home field playoff for us, and we let them slip. One being obviously on the road in PG against a team that we felt like we should have been able to beat, and we had a major letdown. And that cost us. We had the points we needed versus West Shore here at home, and at the last drive we let that slip. So it's about learning from mistakes, handling the business, and setting clear goals for ourselves and working hard every day to achieve them, and not look past where you're at right now and what you need to do to accomplish the goals. It's 10-game season, man. It's a long season, and if you're looking forward and looking past certain things, all of a sudden you're going to get a rude reminder of life of football, right? So yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of learning that we did last year, and after the first week training camp here, the guys seem to be up to the task, and certainly are showing that they've taken some good learning steps, and we hope that continues on.
Just talk about the players. I mean, you do a lot of your recruiting through Manitoba, the Bison's program there in Canada West. You have a great community in Chilliwack there supporting you guys as well. Just talk about how you've been able to recruit from your former team, the Manitoba Bisons, and what that relationship is like from out east there and as well locally with recruiting talent for the season.
Yeah, I mean, historically speaking, we've always done pretty well out of Manitoba. This year, Stephen Koniak, obviously, receiver coming in from the Bisons. We're not as heavily loaded this year with Manitoba kids as maybe we have been in the past. I think obviously my time and experience in Winnipeg led to a lot of connections there and good relationships there, obviously with the Bisons and Coach Doby, but with also with groups like Recruit Ready and just guys that we've put a lot of time and built a lot of really good connections with. But I mean, we recruit all over the country. We've done really well out of Alberta. We've done well in Saskatchewan and in Ontario, and it really is about building networks and building connections. And each year is a little bit different. I think we have more Alberta kids on the roster than we do Manitoba kids at this point, and more BC kids than both of them. So like the first part of your question, the relationship here in Chilliwack is fantastic. We've got two excellent programs. I mean, GW Graham is a high school powerhouse out here, and we've done really well in recruiting those guys. We have, I think we added 5 or 6 guys from GW this year. It's some top talent, and continue to build that relationship. And we want to keep our Chilliwack guys, our Abbotsford guys, our Mission guys, and we want to keep them here in the Valley. And we do we put a lot of effort into making those guys feel at home here.
And speaking of the Valley, not just because they're close proximity, but obviously the Langley Rams, the team that's had your number coming into last year, hadn't beat them ever into the 2022 season. You guys beat them twice last year. Talk about that rivalry and maybe give a taste of what that'll be like for the fans when you guys open your schedule on July the 29th at home against the Langley Rams.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that's going to be an exciting game to watch. I think there's two good football teams that are going to be going at it. Like our roster, we feel very comfortable with, and their roster, I'm sure they feel very comfortable with, and they're excited to get going, and we're excited to get going. And adding the rivalry cup game, the Cascade Cup, only ups the ante, right? So, I mean, historically speaking, like you said, the wins and losses are certainly tilted in their favor, but we were able to turn that corner last year and beat them twice, and defending national champs, and both tight games. I expect nothing but the same this year. I expect it to be a hard hitting, exciting game to watch for the fans.
Bob, I want to thank you for taking the time today as we kind of preview the season, try and get to all the coaches before our home openers. But thank you again for the time today amidst training camp, and best of luck this season.
Much appreciated. Thanks for having me on.